Picture this scenario. You're walking down the street and a gate has a sign, beware of the dog. Do you cross that threshold? You might, I suppose. But if the sign says, beware of the dog, it will bite,
Mm.
do you cross the threshold? You might think twice or even thrice.
Mm.
So I really don't see the intelligence of the British government wanting to cross the threshold to have an open war with Russia, because that is what it is doing. And worse than all of this, the journalists and contributors of talk programs who seem to have injected themselves with a high dose of patriotism, knowing they themselves will not be called up to put boots on the ground if the thing got ugly. There's word coming out of Russia calling for the use of the Poseidon nuclear bomb, which explodes off the coast and creates a huge tidal wave to come ashore, which will make that of Fukushima in Japan look like a quick splash. And this call is not coming from Putin himself,
Mm.
but by the people around him, who are more war hawks than John Bolton of the US or Boris Johnson a little closer to home. Russia has made it clear if the UK continues to supply Ukraine with long range missiles and drones, it will consider the UK a military enemy and will retaliate. Sergei Lavrov said to journalist Pavel Zarubin, "You know, I feel sorry for Britain if it intends to stand with Ukraine until the very end. President Putin has warned that we have the right to act in any part of the world, in any part of the world's oceans, if anyone encroaches on our interests, our property. Likewise, we have every right to proclaim the proudly direct involvement of British missile forces in strikes against Russia as participation of the war, with all the consequences that entails." The Russian embassy in London said in a statement recently considered the UK an accomplice, a co-perpetrator of the bloody crimes and terrorist attacks committed by Ukraine. That was in London.
Yeah.
The deeper its involvement in the conflict and the greater its support for Kiev's terrorist machinery, the higher the price it will pay.
Right.
It doesn't matter if Putin personally is affected by the Ukrainian attacks deep inside Russia or not. The Kremlin is a big place. Like I said earlier, it isn't Putin that wants to go nuclear. It's others in that building on the edge of Red Square. So, you know, basically, Russia has set another red line, and it's made it quite clear. I'm not a fan of Putin.
No, no, no. Well aware of that.
I'm not a fan of Burnham.
No.
Uh, I'm just saying that the room has been arranged,
Mm.
the land has been laid, and everybody's clear what they can and can't do.
Yeah.
And if the UK insists on sending these long range, basically made by Ukrainian companies in the UK to Ukraine to send across to hit Russia, deep inside Russia, Russia is going to said it's going to consider these companies
Mm.
as the legitimate targets
Yes.
in the future. And you can't say that Russia wasn't provoked by sending a response to the UK.
Yeah. Well, yes.
That's all I have to say about it.
Well, Eva, I mean, yeah, I mean, there is the old saying, in order to avoid war, you should prepare for war. I can't remember if that was Machiavelli or somebody else said it, but yeah. Now, I mean, it's absolutely crazy to even eat. Okay, do what we're doing. I mean, selling arms is one thing. Most Western country sell arms to another one. Yeah, it just so happens that Ukraine is a buyer at the moment. That's a ready market, and yeah, it wants them now. Have you got to be strong with Russia? Well, of course you have. You've got to be strong with any country. I don't care if they even be strong, stand up to the US on occasions and stand up to wherever. But it's how to put it. Yeah, none of us are fans of Putin. It's exactly what I've been saying for quite a while, and I think you have indirectly, is that Putin is probably the best leader we've got at the moment for Russia to actually keep Russia together, and more importantly, in some realm of what we consider Eastern European sanity. Yeah. He has got a strong grip, and he's the ultimate cold warrior. He's not as reckless as people think. Okay, do I like that there's Russian troops running around Ukraine? Of course I don't anymore. I don't like the idea of Kiev being bombed, and I don't like the idea of places internal to Russia being bombed. Yeah, it's ordinary people on the ground. Yeah. We all know that you and I both think that now's the time. Okay, let's say it's a draw in Ukraine, and it's going to be a stalemate for many, many more months to come, if not years, unless Russia really does something quite radical, which is probably very capable of doing, or using something, or really putting a massive push on. When they're dragging 40-year-old men off the streets in Kiev and other places, supposedly in Ukraine, to go and fight at the front, and these guys are like, yeah, they're big guys. Yeah, they're fat guys. They're not fit. Yeah.
I think I'm not sure if the British public know this, but the Ukrainian government are press ganging.
Yeah,
basically.
that's it. Yeah,
people in Ukraine, in the capital in Kiev, to serve in the front lines.
Yeah, I mean,
healthy or not.
Yeah,
old.
I mean, I look a lot younger than you. I'm a lot thinner than you, with all due respect to yourself. Yeah, because and yeah, I'd probably be a prime target. I'd be out there walking along the street, going to the local Tesco.
To be quite honest with you, Mark, if I was in Kiev, I would be too.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah, but you go about your business. The next thing is you got 3 or 4 thugs around you, dragging you into a car, or a van, or whatever mode of transport they're using. They seem to be using cars because, well, no, there's one of them where they're trying to drag a guy out of a car. I saw a video. Again, you don't know how true these things are, and I'm not saying because it's on the internet, it's true. I wouldn't know Ukrainian from Russian or any other language. Yeah. But yes, it is a worrying state of affairs. Are Russia drawing their red lines, or they're drawing their lines in the sand, not the red lines. Yeah, drawing the line that, you're just overstepping it. If you continue to do this, we will do this. Do I think Putin is, or the Russian administration is, cold enough to do something in mainland Europe? Yes, I do. Yeah, I don't know what. I don't think they'll go nuke. I think they'll do something short of it. They're quite capable of sending something that's even to an unpopulated district in Germany or something. Yeah, and boom, focusing mines.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that a lot of talking heads and journalists in the West are saying, and I read the press, or both in the East and in the West, to try and get this balance in the middle. And I think it's interesting in the West, they say that Putin is desperate and that his economy shot, and in the meantime he's middling along quite nicely, as it appears to be.
Yeah.
And this is based on economical data that is open for everybody to see.
Yeah.
And if Putin was so desperate, he would have reduced himself to these panic bombings
Yeah,
an awful lot sooner than instead of selecting bomb sites
yeah,
down to just military sites and sites that help the military and industrial complex in Ukraine.
yeah.
He would be bombing anywhere, be doing a blitzkrieg, he'd be doing what the Nazis did in Germany.
Well, there's a little bit more. Yeah, the Blitzkrieg was a little bit more organized than people. Yeah, but I know what you're saying. Yes, he would be. Well, he hasn't got the resources to do that. In my
Oh, he
opinion.
has. Oh, he has. But then he has. He has. Of course, he has.
No, I don't think he's going to go. I mean, it's never to go on a rampage across Europe anyway. I mean, possibly there are other Eastern European countries that probably should be a little bit concerned. I don't think Finland or Sweden should be overly concerned that he's going to send the tanks across there or any other things. A few incursions by Russian submarines maybe, but no real serious threats. I I think that I mean Russia is probably the most war ready military.
That's right. Which is
Uh,
why I say he does have the condition of doing these crazy things, but he doesn't do it.
yeah,
And that's the thing. That's the thing I'm saying. He
mm,
doesn't do it, and it's
yeah.
not because he can't do it. It's because he doesn't feel
Well, he's
cornered
got
enough to do it.
yeah. But I mean, yes, he yes, he would have to justify to himself when you okay. When I watched him talk to Tucker Carlson, okay, and reading his body language and all that, there is a guy who's in total control. Um, and when he's talking, you get the idea he justifies things to himself. Okay, he's got an interpretation. He doesn't make things up. He had all the receipts he handed to Tucker Carlson for analysis. Yeah. Now you can go away, you can read that, whatever language it's in, um, and draw your own conclusions. But yeah, this is the data he has. The guy, yeah, he's also a cold warrior. Cold warriors are not people that act irrationally, like you're saying. Yeah. He, despite everything else, you say he's got people around him. Putin looks at you look at Putin looks at people in a table and they shut up quite quickly. Yeah. He has that kind of control, whether you think that dictatorial, autocratic type of administration is good or bad. He has that almost a medieval style of doing things. I couldn't imagine Burnham managing to do that. I mean, Burnham, yeah, yeah. I think Zia Yusuf has that look about him where he looks at people and they probably turn to stone. Um,
I don't even think Trump does. I mean,
no,
the thing of Trump did a press conference the other day, and
mm.
a woman journalist, tried to get him, asked him one of those gotcha
Oh
questions
yeah, yeah.
about his personal assistant,
Mm.
and he had to shout her down, and he shouted her down. She worked for CNN.
Well, yeah.
Now, if Putin was in the same situation holding a press conference,
Mm.
the journalist would never dream of asking him a gotcha question.
Well, yeah. I
If
mean, yeah.
they're
I mean,
just asking factual questions,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Almost boring. I mean, I mean, yes, you probably learn a lot of how he thinks from that. I mean, yeah. I mean, okay, we can argue we got different form of democracy, open press, and I'm not going to censor CNN. They can print what they want. I can critically think if what they tell me is sensible or not. And I still read CNN on different things sometimes because it's still a news outlet and it's still,
Yeah, I mean, I'll be quite honest with you, me too. But
yeah,
that's only to read one slant,
yeah.
one side of a slant.
I mean,
But the problem with the Western press is that it tends to lie an awful lot, and
well,
uh, I that.
reinterprets, they will tell you, reinterpret. I mean, okay, it's the difference between the UK. We always had the Telegraph and the Guardian. Both both used to be very good quality papers. In fact, you could vote Conservative and still read the Guardian. Yeah, and yeah, as you say, get a different slant. I always found the Guardian a lot more accessible for what I needed. It gave me the information, whether I agreed with it or not. I look at it online recently, and I'm a bit disappointed with the Guardian now. Yeah, because I used to consider it, yeah, a very, very good publication. That maybe challenged me a bit, and I would like to be challenged. Um, but yeah, I mean, okay, should Trump have a free reign and every? Of course he shouldn't. Yeah. Um, I mean, I think Trump is more than capable with these journalists. They all know the game. They go there, he insults them, they get at him, he insults them back, and then they're having conferences together, and he sometimes praises them as well. Yeah. When they do something good or organize something. So he plays the game, and that's it. They all play the game. Russia, the game, the rules of the game are slightly different, admittedly, and um, but that's the Russian way of doing things. As we've always said, one form of democracy or way of doing things is not always acceptable to another.
But
But
back to the plot.
yes,
If
yes.
the UK keeps, and the UK are not selling weapons to Ukraine, that they're giving weapons to Ukraine.
Well, yeah, they're on a almost a lend lease kind of agreement by the looks of it. Yeah. That I mean, the other thing is Ukraine. So like Ukraine do win. Um, they're going to be bankrupt for the next 100 years. Um, the amount of debt, and either that or they just default and refuse to pay anything. Um, I mean, if I'm putting my logic head on it, the only country that could probably now take them on and after all this and build them back up again would be Russia, if I'm being honest, and for the
Yeah,
benefit of the
yeah. Their,
Ukrainians.
their, their
Yeah,
debt to GDP ratio is quite low.
yeah, and culturally they're not the same, but they're reasonably the same. I mean, there's a lot of strange things going on. I mean, that could be Russia's punishment. You've now got to pay for Ukraine to be rebuilt, which would probably be done quite quickly. But yeah, I mean, there is a bad. If you look at history, there is a bad history between Russia and Ukraine, the way they got treated in the past by former administrations. Um, but poor old Ukraine have had a rough break from Polish and Western Europe and everyone throughout the years anyway. So I'm not going to use history as a very good marker for them. Um, but so have Russia. Russia have always had a bad. When Russia's tried to get itself going, whenever it happened, they got invaded or something else happened. Um, at the moment, we do need a united Russia, and Putin's the man to do that. Like you say, Putin isn't exactly banging the drum, calling for a patriot war against Western Europe. Forget America. America are out the game. He has his allies, how close he's working with China and other countries. Um, it's going to be it's going to be an interesting thing. I do think there may be something may go down that Russia will remind Western leaders of their capabilities. Um, I'm not quite sure what, and that's the worrying thing. Um, all Putin, all the administration there, or I mean, nobody in the Kremlin will say something out of turn as well. Yeah. People around Putin or beneath Putin thinking this. In other words, that still builds Putin's power base up. Oh, you still need Putin in power. Yeah. If I'm putting my Machiavellian how to hold on to power head on. So he would allow people to say these things. What's being said is don't rest easy. You won't be able to sleep at night because, yeah, we will do something. Rest assured. Yeah. And it might be something as simple as taking out a ship somewhere or boarding a ship or towing in a ship or something else or hitting a base somewhere. Um, I mean, the options are open there. How good is Western intelligence with regards to what Russia are doing? I don't know. I can't I can't answer that. GCHQ can probably answer that. But again, that's them have to do an assessment. And they
You
do
wanna
seem
you wanna do you wanna hear something ironic?
mm,
Is with these droughts going on and El
mm,
Nino, they're
yeah.
saying it's going to get worse, and all the farming, all the agriculture is being decimated,
Mm,
and Russia is one of the highest grain exporters of the world. And Europe is going to be begging Russia for grain and other products.
If you know that, Putin knows that.